Which is the fastest MagSafe charger for your iPhone? I put some of the top ones to the test to find out. Welcome everybody to Apple Insider. It is Andrew here, and recently I had done a video where I rounded up several of my favorite MagSafe multi-chargers that could power up between 2 to 4 different devices. And in that video, I asked all of you which ones were your favorites and which ones I should run a charging test on. And after tens of thousands of views, I finally have answers, and I've chosen 4 different MagSafe multi-chargers to test out. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through my testing parameters and guidelines. I'm going to introduce you to the 4 different chargers that I am going to be showing off and comparing in this video. Then I will break down the results of my speed test and finally round it out with my results, my gleanings from this test, and give you my recommendation on which MagSafe charger you should consider. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's start with the parameters and procedures for testing the speeds of MagSafe wireless charging. For this test, I used this guy, an iPhone 12 Pro that I have here in the studio. Because it's been basically a dummy device that I've just used for filming and video production, it still has 100% battery health. I've fully updated the phone to the most recent version of iOS, and I've turned off all features such as optimized charging and battery health, everything like that, just so that these chargers were able to fully charge completely without any software restrictions limiting them. In between each test, I would fully drain the phone's battery. Then I would let it sit for a while, make sure it wasn't warm, and make sure it was completely room temperature before beginning the next charging test. I tested with all 4 of these chargers, starting off with a completely bricked phone, completely off, like completely dead, put it on there, ran it all the way until it got to 100%, and those are the numbers that I'm going to talk about in just a moment. So what are the 4 chargers that I tested in this video? Well, the first one is probably one of the most popular, and it was the first one to bring to market, and that is the Belkin Boost Charge Pro 3-in-1. There is a 2-in-1 version that ditches the Apple Watch charger, but this is the most recent version with the fast charge Apple Watch puck. It's a really nice charger. It's been endorsed by Apple and was kind of the one that Apple featured on stage when they had originally introduced MagSafe. So this one's super popular, see this all the time. Definitely had to make it into this video. The second one is the one that I actually use each night on my bedstand. It's from OtterBox. This is technically, I believe, the 2-in-1 version. There is a 3-in-1 version that had recently launched, but I don't charge my AirPods by my nightstand, and if I did, I would just put them on the MagSafe charger here. So the 2-in-1 is perfect for me. I like that it's got an adjustable puck there at the front, which again, ideal for your AirPods. Turn it straight up, set anything on there to Qi charge, and you got your Apple Watch fast charging module in the back. So this is the 2-in-1 here from OtterBox. Then I have the Hyper. This is the Hyper Juice 4-in-1. What's great about here, multiple inputs, USB-C or the barrel connector, so you have multiple ways to charge this thing or power this thing up. It charges 4 devices at once, including MagSafe here with an adjustable little puck, so you can change the angle of your iPhone, your Apple Watch charger, AirPods, and another Qi charger. You can use both these for phones or for headphones or whatever it is you want to mix up, but lots of charging options here with the 4-in-1 Hyper Juice from Hyper. Then lastly, and this one, partially because of my own curiosity, is this fella here from ESR. Now this is technically not MagSafe certified, and it doesn't even include an Apple Watch charging puck. This is my own puck that I route in here and connect on the bottom, and for all the people who said it does not work with the most recent versions of your Apple Watch puck, you must have a different version than I do, because this does have USB-C in the bottom. So you can plug in your most recent fast charging Apple Watch pucks, plug them in there, USB-C port on the bottom of this. But this is their Cryo Boost line, and it's unique because there's active cooling inside of here. Fans that'll spin around pretty much silently and will keep the temperature down to increase charging times. So it's a Qi charger, which means it won't charge at full 15 watts like the rest of the MagSafe ones do, and it caps at only 7.5 watts. But I wondered how it would perform compared to the MagSafe chargers because of that active cooling. And honestly, the results are pretty interesting. So without further ado, let's talk about the findings of my MagSafe charging test. Let's go ahead and pull up the graph. So each line is representative of one of the 4 different chargers. We have the gray one, which is the OtterBox, blue is the Hyper, green is Belkin, and the yellowish orangish one there, that is ESR. So as we look here, the one that started off fastest was OtterBox. And OtterBox kept a notable lead in how much it was charged over time, almost until the end. See, when we were going even at an hour and 40 minutes, OtterBox still faster than the rest of all of the chargers. But once we got towards the end, it actually leveled out and tied with the HyperJuice 4-in-1. So even though OtterBox had a lead the entire time, it trickle charged just the last few percentage points that kept it going a little bit longer and ended up with the same charging time as the HyperJuice Hyper 4-in-1. But that was also interesting to see that the Belkin one was significantly slower. There was a good extra 10 minutes, 20 minutes or so that the Belkin RAM took longer to fully charge the iPhone than the others. And the Belkin was slower all the way through. You can just see these big dips in here that Belkin had, and it wasn't until the end where it kind of popped back up to clinch that 3rd place position in the lineup. I was a little surprised with all of Apple's endorsements being one of the first to market. I thought it would be one of, if not the fastest charger here, but surprisingly it wasn't. But still, it's only like a 10-minute difference. It's not a huge difference, but it was notable, especially climbing up the rest of the way. I mean, even at an hour, we're looking at like a 50% charge for Belkin, and you're looking at almost like 60+% for OtterBox. So for a fast charge, you got a limited amount of time, Belkin may not be the right answer. Finally, let's take a look at ESR, which I thought was fascinating. See, ESR is in MagSafe, and it can maximum charge at half the speed of MagSafe, but it held its own and was faster than Belkin most of the way through because of that active cooling. And by the time we got to the end, it wasn't much longer. I mean, we topped out at about 210, I think, around there for Hyper and for OtterBox, and 240 for ESR. So you had about 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes extra time for just the Qi charger to charge up because of that active cooling. I think ESR did a good job. That is really fascinating to me, seeing that it was faster than Belkin the entire way until about 2 hours and 20 minutes when Belkin finally overtook it to finish charging the phone. Just crazy to me how well the ESR one did, even though it's not actually a MagSafe and has a cheaper price tag. So, what does all of this mean when you're buying or shopping for a MagSafe charger? The biggest thing for me is there's not a huge difference. There's some difference, but not a ton. I mean, even going from the Qi charger to the MagSafe one, 30-ish minutes at max variation in speed, and over a course of like 2 hours plus, I don't think it's a huge difference. Especially when we're looking at the actual certified MagSafe ones, that difference is nearly imperceptible. The biggest difference was on the way, but I think I would pick these based on form factor more than these charging speeds. I mean, I still love the OtterBox one, and not just because it was fastest kind of out of the gate, but I like the form factor. Super compact, Apple Watch on the back. Works great with the Apple Watch Ultra, which is heavier, easily adjustable, and I can still charge headphones on here if I want to, whether or not they're MagSafe, and I can tilt it or leave it flat, and just anything that's Qi, place it on top. This is still probably my go-to. The other options still aren't bad though. The Belkin one is nice. It's a good 3-in-1, popular, has a great look to it, metal, has a premium fit and finish to it. I like it a lot. And Hyper wins out because it's got this 4-in-1 design. I mean, that's incredible. And it folds flat so you can take it with you when you travel. I mean, how many do that? Like that's a fantastic feature for a charger. And ESR gets props because it's still so affordable and can compete with these bigger names. That's still an awesome thing for this charger to do, and can charge 3 devices at the same time. All of these have their perks, and I would pick each of them just based on the form factor, design, and other distinguishing features, rather than the results of this charging test. These results are very telling, and mostly just because there's not a huge difference, and there's other reasons to pick a solid charger. Let me know what you guys think. Are there other chargers you'd like me to test? Which one is your favorite? Let me know down below in the comments or on Twitter at Andrew_OSU. And if you'd like to pick up any of these chargers, there's links for all 4 of them down below in the description. Otherwise, stay tuned. I've got so many more videos to share with you, and they're coming your way.